Hello, it's Susan here for Mew Mew Cosplay, and today we're going to be making Mew Ichigo's Bodice. For Ichigo's Bodice, we're going to be using Simplicity 2067, and we're going to start with the inner portion of the bodice. So we're going to cut a interlining, which is going to be between the outside of the bodice and the lining pieces. So for this project, I'm using some cute flannel for the interlining and some pink cotton for the lining. Unfortunately, nobody's going to see this design, but you will know that it's pretty. And we're going to start by putting the pieces together, and we're going to sew them along the sides and along the tops. Then we're going to take our pieces and take a clear ruler and mark with a pen on the interlining pieces where we want our boning channels to go, and we're going to sew them in place. We're going to leave the ends open so we can insert the boning pieces later on. Once all the boning channels have been sewn in place, then sew all of the bodice pieces together along the side seams. Cut some pieces of Ridgeline boning to the length that you want. Apply a bit of heat to the edges to keep them from fraying further. Then we're going to insert them into the channels that we made earlier and sew along the bottom so that they don't come out. Moving on to the outer shell of the bodice, we're going to cut the bodice front pieces out of some pink satin, and we're going to sew them together along the side seams. To make the flaps on Ichigo's bodice, we're going to cut 4 smaller triangles and 4 larger triangles out of the pink satin. Then, putting right sides together, we're going to sew them together along the edge, leaving the top open. Turn the triangle right side out, press it flat, and top stitch along the edge and also stitch along the top to keep everything in place. Then, putting right sides together, sew the triangles to the bottom of the bodice front. Putting right sides together, we're going to sew the lining to the outer portion of the bodice along the bottom and along the top, leaving the edges open. Turn the bodice right side out, and we're going to top stitch all along the edge. Then we're also going to fold the edges inward and sew along there so that there's no raw edges showing. For the eyelets, so the bodice can lace up, I hand sewed the eyelets on, but you could use an eyelet punch. And I also added an additional rectangle out of satin and cotton for a modesty panel, though this step is optional. For the ribbon tie on the back, I just cut some red grosgrain ribbon and sealed the edges with some nail polish to keep them from fraying. And with that, Mew Ichigo's bodice is done. For more tutorials on how to make the rest of the costume, please subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.